Everybody, Elrond here, space between the notes. I wanted to share with you two Dex project things I'm working on, and I thought it would be interesting. And since I'm kind of loving making videos with my phone without the hoopla of setting cameras and equipment, I'm going to try and do this and see. Maybe I'll post it, maybe not. Who knows? So, two projects. This one, and this is not really a project. This came already ready, but I'm kind of that's BT scratching the chair. She always has to make an appearance, right? Working with guides and spirit guides and inspiration and muses, I think it's been a very important part of how I go about things. Does that make any sense? And when I work, obviously when I created my own oracle, that was, to connect to my own guides and my own understanding, my higher self and all of that stuff. So that sort of put things in the right lane for me. And having worked now with other decks, obviously crystal decks and animal decks and angels decks and all, there's so many different kinds. I think there's always a little bit of a dissonance when I see an image of somebody I don't know or I don't really connect with, and they're in the deck and I don't really know what to do with them. And I'm thinking, I really wish there were somebody I actually did connect with in the deck. So that sort of led me to go on Zazzle, which is a postcard and printing website. And it was also, I forget, because another inspiration was Kelly's, I think it was a live chat that we're discussing altars, or in some video that she made, she was discussing altars. And I was thinking, yeah, it would be really great to have the images of the people, the ancestors, the guides that I work with represented in some way in my meditation room. So I went on Zazzle, started ordering postcards. And the next thing I know, I have my own do-it-yourself postcard guides deck. And yes, the cardstock is not terrific. It's a little cardboardy, and I made the mistake of trying to, you guys can't see this. Can you see this? Like, PT's trying to be a part of this. Sorry if I made anybody dizzy. So yeah, so PT, stay away from the candle. Thank you. And I made the mistake of riffle shuffling it, and the cards became even more bent. But I still love it because it has people and animals and things that mean something to me. And it's also a way for me to sort of focus on working with somebody during the day and not just let the entire mishpucha, the entire family, jump in and start giving me advice. So I'm just going to run this pretty quickly because this might become a very long video. So this is in no particular order. I did not number these cards. I'm just going to show you very quickly. So Maria Callas is here for some fierceness of diva and artistry and just command of her art. And the good thing about Zazzle is they have a huge collection of images. So I managed to find, I would say, 75% of the things I wanted to have. And this by no means is a complete, I'm still adding. The bad thing about Zazzle is when you try to use an image that you captured, or that even in public domain, their system shoots it down. I'm not sure why, but they just cancel the order if you're using a random image that was not uploaded according to their copyright rules. So just bear that in mind if you want to go this route. Rachmaninov, because Rachmaninov, one of my favorite composers, great artist, great conductor, composer, pianist, and inspiration. So when he comes up, I know I'm in the right place. This is interesting because Gandalf and you'll see there's a Moses card too, sort of represent the same archetype, but they're still different. Gandalf is more about magic and mystery and the unknown. Moses is really much more about magic that comes from God. Does that make sense? So, yeah, but we're not digging too deeply into these. Yeah, this is going to, I don't know if you guys know who this is, but this is Shimon Peres, one of Israel's prime ministers and somebody whose vision for peace will always be very ingrained in my heart. And yeah. Another composer, Schumann, because we need him. Apparently, there were two images of a samurai. I went with this one. I went with this one. And apparently, in a past life, I used to be a samurai. And in meditation, one of my teachers came through, and so he's represented here. Don't ask me to explain this card. I know that it has something to do with my paternal grandmother. I know it has something to do with nature and flowers and beauty and just letting things be. But it had to be here. Marcus Aurelius. I will not explain this one because it's too crazy. Debussy, another composer who I love and magical. There were two cards for Pluto or Hades or whichever way you want to call it. This is obviously Orpheus with his lyre playing for Pluto. But Pluto is another guy that I've been working for many, 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 many years. And there's a spread that I channeled from him that I will do another video on, but this is Pluto. For Ganesh, I went with just an elephant because, yeah, elephant. Paris had to be here because that's my happy place. So more composers. Prokofiev is here. And Prokofiev for me owns the shadow like nobody's business. So he had to be here. This next image might be a little disturbing, so I apologize, but there's a snake coming, so turn your eyes. That's Maggie the Python. She and I are trying to work together, sometimes more successfully than others. I'm going to leave this one here for a second. It's the only glossy postcard, but Galadriel had to be here too. And that's the archetype of Titania from Shakespeare, Midsummer Night Dream, and of course the Queen of the Fairies. More composers. J.S. Bach, for the king of all composers, the god of composition. He had to be here. For me, this is a crazy image. This is Pierre Mondrian's, one of his famous paintings. And if you can think of my doodles, you see that there is a strong inspiration that comes from his painting. So when I see this, my entire body goes into like, oh my God, this is just perfection. I know for some people it's just squares. For me, this is dynamite. Another composer. Ravel had to be here too. Monet had to be here too. Van Gogh, how can you not? And I'm actually tempted to include some of his paintings in this deck as well, but maybe that would be a little bit of a imbalance. Yep, more composers. Brahms had to be here too. And every composer to me means something completely different. So for me, Brahms is like the Taurian earth energy, nature energy. Schumann is much more wind, airy, craziness. Bach is structure, Debussy is magic, Ravel is cosmic magic. So these guys to me mean a lot. This is Moses. That's the best representation of him that I can find. I really do not see him this way, but he's been probably the number one guy that I've been working with for the last few months. This is Primo. Primo is my Black Panther and one of my totem animals. This is a Rembrandt picture of a rabbi, because that's the closest that I could find for one of my ancestors who is Levi Tzchak of Berdichev, who was a very famous rabbi that dealt with some esoteric practices. And apparently I'm a descendant, so he's represented. This came from Kelly. Kelly said that her deck should definitely have a dragon, so I stole that idea from her. Sorry, Kelly. But this is just a killer image of this killer dragon. And for me, dragon is a symbol of mastering your fear. And if you can get on this dragon's back and ride it, then you're in business. These are some new ones that I just got today. So this is Cezanne. And for me, this is, if you take the mountain out, this very much looks like where I grew up. So that's a home card. Now, I apologize. This is a horrific image. But that was the only image that Zazzle would let me use. That's the image that they had, and that's Paramahansa Yogananda, and who is also a very powerful guide. And I'm going to try and find another representation because this is just not good enough for me. I don't know. Yeah, this is here because I took that motto that I wanted to put on the cards and I made a postcard from it. So that's here. Of course, my namesake had to be included as well. So Elrond is here. And Badger, because that's one of my totems as well. And I mean, I think I need to include bear and some other animals, and I would love to find better pictures of crystals. But what I love about this so far is that really when I pull one of these guys in the morning, the right person, the right guy, the right thing shows up. And it's so much more personal and interesting and profound for me than just pulling a card from a random deck of guides. And again, because there's so many of them and I know the energies, it's sometimes hard for me to focus like, well, who should be leading today? Whose help would best serve me? And this is really powerful. So the other project I want to show you is, I'm just going to hold this image while I talk about this goddess. 3 years ago, I was creating a project called 1933, which was all music that was composed and premiered in 1933. And I won't bore you with the details, but it was a huge project for me. And the opening prologue of the entire show was Nina Simone, who was born in 1933, talking about the role of the artist. And seeing that and seeing the wonderful Netflix documentary about her, I can't explain it. It was a really beautiful connection. Fast forward, I'm playing a concert. Was it later? Yeah, I think. I don't remember chronologically if it was right before we played the show, but I'm playing this concert and my friend KS is in the audience and she comes to me and she's a professional medium, a licensed medium, and she comes to me after the performance. She says, "Who's the African-American lady standing next to you?" And I just started laughing because there was no way in hell that she would know that, I've been chatting up with Nina Simone, and the fact that she saw it and the fact that she saw her on stage was such an incredible, moving experience that I knew that Nina was here to teach me something. And oh boy. So of course, anything that has to do with racism and my own racism, she comes down and she smacks me over the head with a baseball bat and she tells me to stop and to re-examine what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. And I'm so grateful. And the fierceness of her music and her art and her being are so inspiring to me that I had to find. So this was the first representation that I found her on Zazzle, which is a beautiful postcard. And then I kept digging. I mean, I guess she was sort of leading the way that I would find more. So on Amazon, I found this group of 24 postcards with her images. I just ordered it. It was like $7 on Amazon. Why not? And this beautiful, I'm going to show you the images. These beautiful images of her came on this deck, and I've been using it as an oracle deck. This actually came today and I so needed it. Just be fierce. Own your power. Look fear in the eye and go, I got you. This is, of course, her reminding me where my natural place is at the keyboard. And I mean, she owned it. There's not a hesitation, not a little, like there's no space. She's just there and she is the queen. I don't know what this image means yet, but I'm sure I will. This one, of course, speak up. And this is, hold on, chill. I got this. I love this one. This is another relax and just let things be. This is a nature one. This is that's patience for me. And you can see how tense she is in this photo, but it's, you're tense, you want to do something, but just wait. The right time will come. This is inspiration. Just open up to the divine, open up to spirit and let it pour through you. And this is, I think, more about maturity and what comes with age. And how beautiful, look how beautiful she is. Wow. You're fierce. Look at this one. This is a happy Nina. Yeah. Be humble. Don't we need that all? I mean, all of us. This is for reals. Yeah. This is go practice. Ah, this is just stunning. Look at this. So some of them, I don't know what they mean yet. Some of them have not come up, but I'm sure she will let me know. This has come up numerous times because we all need to dance more, right? And be joyful. The goddess herself. Own your higher self. Come on. Yeah, this one, it came up a lot for me because I tend to go into the shadow, into the sadness. So she reminds me, not a good look. Not a good look. I have no word. This is funny. It's like, nobody's buying what you're selling, so stop. So yeah, so to me this is to me this works, and the point of this video is to share all of this with you. And if you have very powerful guides and you feel like you need a different way of working with them, then go print them out on Zazzle, see if there's an image. Or I'm thinking that maybe at some point I'll make I'll get better images of all these guides and maybe make a real deck that can be riffle shuffled, and maybe a little, this is very big. Let me show you. I have the fountain here, so just hold on. Hold on. Yeah, you can see it's the fountain. Yeah, I'm going to run out of space. I'm going to say goodbye. Bye.